How about getting paid $5,000 to build your own off-market list? Show of hands if that'd be a valuable resource for you. Instead of you paying $5,000, you get paid $5,000. You just got taught how to do it, by the way. Yesterday was Easy Agent, the domain, landing page, all that, right? Texting campaigns, right? All these things that cost us money. I've had an investor come up with this idea for me. I didn't come up with this. I'm not even that smart. What happened was the investor's like, what if I paid you to build my off-market list? What do you mean? Well, yeah, you do all this marketing for yourself. Why don't you just do it for me? I was like, well, what would you pay me? He said, pick a number. So I said, $5,000. Cost me $500. I kept the $4,500. I built the list. List is free. I'm on MLS, right? List free, pull. I skip trace the list. Cost me $200 to find all the phone numbers. I sent it to a VA, virtual assistant, to pull all the phone numbers. And then I sent a text message to all the phone numbers saying, hey, I got an investor who wants to buy your house. Would you be open to an offer? And then I just responded to everybody who was hating me, loving me, or not caring about me. Right? The 1/3 was inevitable no matter what. So I just hunted for it. And he ended up closing on a property. He made $400,000. And he paid me a commission for closing. I got paid up front for doing the marketing, and I got paid a commission when I closed. And I took a bunch of listings, and I got paid for those too. And then as I started scaling this idea, this didn't come to me until years later. I wish I thought of this sooner. But about 2 years ago, I started realizing I could just literally just tell my investors, you want an off-market list? I started promoting off-market lists. I became a media company. I became a marketing company. I shifted over. I was like, I'm a marketing company now. I help people buy off-market lists. I taught how to do off-market lists on YouTube. I was like, hey, here's how you build an off-market list. 55 plus in your market, somebody who's been in the house more than 7 years, and you definitely want to have know your niche, and then you just send them a text message. And then people would message me being like, hey, can you just build a list for me? I'll just pay you. Show of hands if you don't mind getting paid for your marketing. Your marketing must pay you. Show of hands if you don't mind getting paid to lock down your clients, to get the commitment out of them, getting paid to lock them down. And I'm not saying with buyer's contracts. Those things suck. Who's been told you should do a buyer's contract as it locks them in? We've all been told this, right? And we feel like sleazy doing it. Coaching is kind of like an acceptable form of a buyer's program, a buyer's contract. It's like, hey, you're not saying close with me, but it's implied. The implication is there. Access to live networking, we all need it. We were there last night, right? There was an event in Jacksonville called the Real Estate Investors Meetup, Business and Real Estate Professionals Network. We went there. There were 3 real estate investors in the room. It was a small meetup. It was a brand new meetup. There's 3 real estate investors in the room. Cool. You know what they wanted? Deals. So simple. There's a difference between a buyer and a hyper buyer. Anybody know the difference? This is new, okay. A buyer buys standard amounts. A hyper buyer, okay, let's use Starbucks for example. Average buyer goes to Starbucks, we're probably all average, once a month, right? You're driving by, maybe anybody go to Starbucks about once a month? It happens, right? It's like accidentally end up in a Starbucks. That's the average person. Then you got what's called a hyper buyer. That right there is a hyper buyer. Starbucks every day. And would do Starbucks twice a day if it was convenient enough, if she could justify it. Right? That's a hyper buyer. So real estate has them too. You have the average buyer buys 1 house every 7 years, and you have the real estate investor who wants to buy 7 houses every single year. That's a hyper buyer. Hyper buyers like networking. They like to meet other people because they think they might find a deal. They think they might find more money. They think they might find their realtor, their wholesaler, their contractor, their plumber, their electrician. They don't know what they're going to find when they leave their house, but they know they're looking for something. And the only way to get it is their network. So networking events, by the way, they exist right here in Jacksonville. They exist every city, every state across this great country. They're called the Real Estate Investors Association. They're called the Multifamily Network. They're called Real Estate Investors Anonymous, Real Estate Investors Groups, Real Estate Investors Meetups, Business and Real Estate Professional Networks. They're happening all across this country every single day. And they're great places to host. You can host these as well. If they don't exist, you can make one of your own. Instructional investing workshops. Man, I spent $150,000 on my coaching, on my professional development as an investor. They pay for these things. You can run them for them as well. Private capital for their deals. Who here has had a seller make at least $100,000 on a sale in the last 7 years, right? Pretty much everybody has made money on every sale the last 7 years. Well, this niche, this particular niche, if we forget to reach out to them, that money's still sitting in their accounts. That money's sitting in their 401ks now, it's sitting in their real estate. You can call back to your old clients and you can use their money to help your new clients buy real estate. So their old clients are passively investing in new clients' deals, taking a second mortgage, second position as a down payment or a partner on deals. And so your video content could be teaching these things, could be saying, this is how you invest. You don't stop buying. Keep buying. Here's how you partner with people. Here's how you find off-market deals. Here's how you raise capital to invest in deals. Here's how syndication works. Here's how an LLC partnership works. Here's how subject to, you're just talking about, here's how subject to existing mortgages work. Here's how wraparound mortgages work. Here's how a seller financing or partial seller financing works. Here's how asset-based lending works. Here's how commercial lending works. Here's how hard money lending works. I do a podcast called the Alchemist Nation Podcast. I bring in the professionals. I don't know shit about what they're doing, but I'm like, how does this work? And so they teach the audience. They teach the community like how these things are done. Show of hands if you don't need to be the smartest person in the room, but you know how to find them. That's it. Last one, so 6. Income stream number 6, desire number 6, they want legacy wealth and properties. That's what you do for them. You get them closings. Every closing, every commission check you got was building legacy wealth for that investor. Every check, even if they weren't an investor, they were a standard original home buyer, you're building wealth for them by closing on a property with them. Because property over time earns 5% every single year. And in this past market, it's been amazing. I've gotten rich not by being smart, by just being disciplined. Just by being consistent, just paying my mortgage, just making sure my tenants had running water. Very simple. It wasn't hard for me. At my peak, I had 100 units, and I was not stressed. You know why? I trust in business professionals. I trust in partnerships. I have property managers. Show of hands if you know a property manager. Show of hands if you know a property manager who'd love some business from you. Show of hands if you know a property manager who might pay you a sponsorship fee then, to be hosting events with you. My attorneys, they can't pay me a referral fee, can they? It's illegal. But they love paying me sponsorship fees because they can run my home buyer seminars. They can be a part of my real estate investment training boot camps, which, by the way, the real estate investors paid me to be there too. I just bring in people smarter than me and put them on stage and share their knowledge. They're not selling anything. They're just hoping for a relationship. True or true? I hate stages where, like, I feel like, oh man, like there's another $10,000, $40,000, $50,000 course, right, back to back to back. One of the things I love about this is like, we were looking at the program and me and Dorena were talking. We were like, that's it? That's the price? She's like, I want it now. It's like, you don't even do YouTube videos. She's like, yeah, but I want to jump in for the price. Swear to God. Babe, you gonna do videos if we jump in? She's like, I don't even want to do videos, but I want to be a part of it because it seems like a good deal. That's how Grant Cardone got me at 10X with diamond tickets. She recognizes a good deal. Now, don't get me wrong. I met 130 millionaires at that event. Now my database, we were talking about my database when I came up here, 100 millionaires, 400 millionaires. My database today. I got to update that request or that description. And the reason it's so high is because of one thing, and that's what Robert Castillo, we were just talking about that at the VIP room. He said the secret to life is just be a decent human being. Be likable. Like people, right? Be likable, like people, and people will like you, and they'll offer you opportunities. The other secret, though, you do have to ask them for what you're looking for. If you want to help people buy real estate, you got to like helping people buy real estate. You got to like people who like buying real estate, right? Who here has had a negative thought about investors in the past? Be real with me. Yeah, every one of you. We've all thought, oh man, another investor, they're so annoying. They always put these lowball offers. We've all thought it, right? We've all thought that. But it's because we don't understand what they're looking for. Right? Imagine if we could look at this and say, oh my God, I understand why they want that. They want their children to never have to work again. They want their children to never know pain of finance like they had to. They want their spouse to, if they die, to not have to worry about money, right? They want to do something they love. I'm out here doing this because I love helping people. Thank God I got past being an accountant, right? Thank God I didn't say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here behind this desk and not buy real estate. Imagine if I'd given up on this dream of being able to help people. Think about the same thing for you. These investors, you yourselves, I'm not going to say the word should. I don't want to should all over you, but yeah. You might want to buy real estate. There's no retirement plan. That's what that bottom one is. Partners on flips. Who's been asked by an investor to partner on something? If you stay in the business long enough, somebody will ask you to partner on a deal. It's because they feel uncomfortable with doing it on their own. They're giving you a chance for equity with no requirement, no request of putting anything other than showing up and doing the deal, making sure it works with them. Never say no to equity. If an investor, by the way, there's 3 parts of a deal. Deal, money, labor. Deals, money, labor. That's the only 3 parts of the deal. They will pay you 33% for any one of those three parts. If you brought the deal, sometimes I don't even have to forego a commission. I may still get equity in the deal, get the commission, and still have a happy client, and now have a partner. That's your retirement plan. Because they didn't give you one. There's a lot of people in there who have been licensed for 15 years. Show of hands again. It's because it doesn't come with a retirement plan. You figured it out already, huh? You just got to keep going, keep going. So I teach this for one reason. It does take realtors to build millionaires. And there's only one thing I'll ever get out of my bed for, is that's to build millionaires. I do not get out of bed unless I'm building millionaires or doing leg day, in which case I do leg day every day. And the reason I focus so hard on millionaires is because I believe that once a person's financially free, they'll start realizing who they really are. They'll start looking at what's really important in life. They'll start doing something. A lot of my millionaires start charities. They start programs. They start businesses. Who's that crazy? They go become a millionaire, they start a business. But it's because those businesses have impact. Those businesses, they feel like could change the world. They could change a person's life. They could make a person maybe have something that they didn't have. Other things that you could be doing if you weren't working so hard for money? Is there a vision you have? Something you'd like to accomplish in this world? Something you'd like to change about the way the world is today? And because money, it feels like, maybe you're held back from that.